Hello friends, hi everyone, I am Sanyukta and today we are going to be learning a new Zentangle original pattern, and the name of the pattern is Toodles. A very organic looking pattern, looks just like a leaf and very simple to draw, just 2 or 3 elemental strokes. So the pattern Toodles starts with this double line, right, just like a stem, and then starting right from the beginning of the line, I'm going to draw these two lines, and these droplet kind of shapes at the end of the line, and then a curved line starting somewhere in between this line, joining at this end of the center line, and then a mild curve, and then again another curved line starting from this and joining somewhere in the center of this line, right? So this is the pattern Toodles. So there are a couple of things that you can remember here. This line starts right from the beginning, right from here, and then the curved lines, the leaf, which complete the leaf shape, start somewhere from the center of this line, meet at the end of the stem, again a mild curve, and meet somewhere at the center of this line, right? So if you are not comfortable with movement from down to up, you can also draw like this, up to down, right? Again two stems coming out, and then you can come from up to down like this and like this. So what one has to note here is this line starts right from here, and these two lines meet somewhere in the center of this line, right? So that is what gives the look of Toodles. So we'll start with a tile right away. I am doing away with my borders and the dots. I'm starting straight with the tangle, starting from one side, right? Again going to move diagonally, so these two stems coming out from the center basically look like fescues. Fescue is another Zentangle original which we'll be learning in our future classes, right? So again starting right from the beginning, two stems coming out, rounding some weight at the end, again, right? So a very organic looking tangle. As you can see, the movement of hands can be from top to bottom, or you can just the way you are comfortable. I am comfortable drawing from bottom to top. You may draw it the other way also. Again So looks just like leaf. But if you follow what I have told you, the 2 points, then Toodles has a specific look, and you get that look only when those two things are taken care of, right? So again, to repeat, this line starts right from the beginning here, again meeting somewhere in between here, right? So I think I'll draw the last one now. Again meeting somewhere in between. What you can also do here is, I'll add one more here, I think. Yeah, something like this. Right. So now we can add a fold on one side, just a small curve which gives the look of a fold, right? It is optional, you may not do it, looks good. I'm just adding a slight curve on one side to give the look of a curl, right? So again here and here. So that's the basic pattern Toodles. Now what we can do is, with my pen, for the rest of the tile I am giving it a border, right? And we have already learned the pattern floors, so I'm going to be using that pattern here, since we have already learned a couple of patterns, so we can always use one or two of them in our tiles now. So just drawing a simple square grid, if you remember, and instead of diamonds at the crossings, we'll be using simple dots. We don't want our floors to overshadow our Toodles, right? So we'll just be using simple dots, bold dots for our floors. Just to give a background to our Toodles. Right. So we are almost done with it. Now we'll be shading our Toodles. So there are a couple of ways you can go about shading a Toodle. You can either shade on one side, right? So add some graphite on one side and then smudge it. add some graphite along this line and some here. Right, so that's one way how you can shade a doodle. You can add graphite on this side or on this side, whichever way. You may choose not to add any graphite on the sides and just highlight the stems only, right? That also looks good. So just adding some graphite under these two and the main stem like this, or you may draw another leaf shape inside the doodles and then color it, right? Just blend it in. So that is also one way of shading your doodles. Right? So in our time, we'll go with some simple shading. We'll just highlight this line and add some graphite under and some graphite under the fold, right? So I'm just going to highlight this line, the two offshoots and the fold, right? Some graphite here, some graphite under the lines and under the fold. So if you have any fourth way of shading, please go ahead with it. As I have told you earlier also, whatever looks good. So adding some graphite under the two stems, the main stem and the fold. Make sure you do not add too much of it. You don't want the entire leaf to go grey, right? Yeah. Now with a very light hand, we are going to blend it. You can already see how shading adds dimension, depth to your tile. The look of the tile changes completely. Just a touch of grey. Just blending the graphite with a very light hand. Right? You can see there are some spaces left in between the doodles. It is up to you. Either you can fill up the spaces or you can add some doodles here and there, right? So it is entirely up to you how you want to go about it. Coloring is also a good option, right? So some doodles here and there also look nice. Or you may ink it up, entirely your choice. I am going to be using some doodles. Right, so these empty spaces you can fit in some doodles here and there, right? I don't think there is any more left. So as far as our floors is concerned, we are just going to, with a very light hand, add a shadow underneath, right? I am using a very light hand with my pencil, not pressing it at all. Again, basically repeating the lines that I have already drawn, right? Repeating my lines with a very light hand. And then I'm going to be repeating the dots also, just to give the impression of a shadow, right? Repeating the dots also, the very light hand. Right, and then just a touch, not blending much, just a touch on the lines that I have drawn. So that it looks like a shadow. Right? And a few black pearls here and there. It is very easy to draw a black pearl. I'll just show you how. So you can either just draw an orb, either leave a small space inside it, or use your jelly roll to create that space, right? Just draw an orb, draw a small C shape inside it, and fill up the rest of the space. If you wish, you can add a small shadow underneath, right? Just a touch of gray under it gives the look of a shadow. Again, a small orb, a small C shape inside, which I am going to leave empty, or you can use your jelly roll, and a touch of graphite underneath, and just blend it a little. So looks like pearls. Very simple to draw. Adds to the look of your tile. Again, a touch of graphite underneath, right, and blend it. Again, a small one here. Fill up the space, leave a small patch empty. Again, a touch of graphite underneath. Just smudge it, right? So that's our tangle pattern doodles, and I'm now going to initial my tile, right? Going to sign and date it. So we'll meet again with another Zentangle original pattern. Till then, be safe, have a good time, goodbye.